Now, more than ever, you may think that you need to feel very comfortable and confident on camera, whether it be through webinars, teaching online courses, or putting videos on YouTube to promote your brand or business, or just doing Zoom calls, right? We're being called to feel comfortable on camera, and yet, for most of us, it doesn't feel supernatural to be talking to an inanimate object like a camera. And you may see other YouTubers, movie stars, and public figures, or anyone in your industry that seems to be super comfortable and natural on camera that you feel you will never be able to measure up. But the good news is you don't have to worry anymore about talking in front of the camera, because in this video, I'm going to give you all the tips you need to know in order to be naturally confident on camera. So after watching this video and applying all the tips that I'm going to give you, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be so confident on camera and you might even enjoy it. I remember how impossibly hard it was for me to be on camera for the first time. I literally panicked and refused to be on camera for a few days, but at the end of the day, I had to figure out a way to make myself get the hang of it and face my fears. So I hope this video is going to be useful to you guys. And if you're new to this channel, this is Nader from Prodvigate, and here on this channel, we help you build your YouTube channel from the ground up. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on anything. So the first tip is trick your mind. One of the things that made me panic when I first started talking on camera is the fact that it could be watched by hundreds or thousands of people that wouldn't necessarily find me good enough to listen to. I was always thinking that I might get criticized or even hated on by some people on the internet. And that idea alone destroyed my confidence. So I thought it could be a great idea to invite someone that I trust to sit behind the camera. Then I started recording myself and talking to him instead of the camera while setting the timer for just 10 minutes. It felt a little weird at first, and I wasn't directly looking towards the camera, but what I did was shift my face gradually towards the camera and let myself get in the flow of talking naturally. And luckily it worked. It felt a little awkward at first, but after the second or the third time, I forgot that I was talking on camera and I was so relaxed that I recorded way more than 10 minutes just in one go. So what I want you to do the next time you record yourself, and I really encourage you to do so, you should record yourself as much as possible because practice is the #1 key to getting comfortable on camera. So the next time you do that, put a picture of someone that you're really comfortable and happy talking to right nearby your lens. And it's okay if you're not looking exactly into the lens at this moment, but have them there nearby the lens so that you can pretend you're talking to them. And get in the natural flow, and I want you to record yourself for just 10 minutes doing this. And as you're going along, try shifting your gaze just a little bit more and more away from the image and towards the lens, and just get comfortable keeping that presence of how you would be with your friend or a family member, and moving it towards the camera lens. So this way you're gonna feel much better. Now, tip #2, try to blink. One of the biggest problems that I faced when I first started recording myself on camera is that I completely stopped blinking because of my nervousness and anxiety of putting myself out there in front of an unknown number of people. It was so hard to blink, and sometimes my eyes would become as dry as a bone to the point where I sort of had to stop filming and take a break. Needless to say, it's not only going to be so difficult for you to talk without blinking, but it's also going to be extremely uncomfortable for your audience to watch you like that. So right now, I'm showing you a simple example of how it feels when you never blink. So I'm not blinking and trying to maintain eye contact with the lens. It looks quite scary because your eye, kind of looks scary when you do that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can over blink as well just to look natural on camera. Just keep it mild, like when you're talking to a friend or a family member. So what I want you to do is sit in front of the camera, talk about whatever you want. You can talk about a tasty burger you had the other day or how to survive a robot uprising. It doesn't matter. But be aware and conscious of the frequency of your blinking. This might not be so difficult to do, but if you find it difficult, just keep practicing and you'll finally get there. You can also look off camera every once in a while or look down to collect your thoughts, because this is a very natural action when talking to people. But keep in mind that there is a fine line between looking off the camera in a natural way and constantly looking away from the camera, because your viewers are going to forget about what you're going to say or what you're already saying, and they're going to start wondering if you're looking at something around you, and that might get them to stop watching your videos. So try to keep it natural, just like when you're talking to one of your friends or a family member. And that gets us to tip number 3, control your breathing. Sometimes, especially when you're a beginner, it can be very, very hard to remember to breathe. So you're most likely gonna tense up, and that'll affect your breathing. So imagine you're talking for 2 minutes straight without getting a break to breathe. Yet you feel uncomfortable and totally tensed up because you're trying to get the words out of your mouth super fast. Well, that way it's faster than normal because you don't want to breathe, and that's going to be obvious and noticeable on camera. So what you're going to have to do is breathe between sentences. Take a moment to breathe between your sentences and make it easy for you to continue talking, and your audience is going to have a moment to digest the information you're giving them. So it's a win-win. And what most people would do before shooting is take a few cleansing breaths before they hit record. That'll make your body more relaxed, and you'll be able to breathe in a natural way. And tip number 4, spice up your movement. Now, when you stop breathing well, not only your voice gets tensed up, but also your body. And it feels so uncomfortable to your viewers to see you very stiff and uptight. And that was one of my problems when I first started. It was impossibly hard to be natural in front of the camera. And even though I'm quite emotional when I talk to my friends, I use my hands a lot, my intonation changes depending on the context of the topic. But when on camera, everything changes. And I suddenly metamorphose into that shy, awkward person. And that's okay. It takes time, just like any other skill in life. Now, tip number 1 is going to help you significantly when you pretend that you're talking to someone you know very well, or actually invite this person to sit near the camera. That's going to make you use your hands as you were talking, with your friends the other day. So I suggest you now record yourself and practice moving your hands. So, you should make yourself comfortable that way, but you don't want to use them all the time because that would seem unnatural too. And now tip number 4, create your YouTube persona. And this sounds funny to me because I had no idea about that when I first started making videos. I would go on and on without emoting even a tiny bit, and I couldn't see anything wrong in that until one of my friends pointed out that I seemed a little bit unnatural and personaless, as he said. And only then I looked up how to create my own persona on camera, and I see that I'm now much, much better. But sometimes I get, self-conscious or anxious, but that's a very human feeling that everybody feels before recording. But once you get in the flow of your persona, it gets significantly better. So what I did was watch my favorite YouTubers and try to work out how they talk on camera, the way they tell jokes, the way they move their hands, and I would try to imitate each one of them until I come up with a way that works best for me, that is not necessarily someone else's style. But that doesn't work instantly. You're gonna have to, experiment with your videos, try to talk in slightly different ways in your videos, and watch yourself afterwards to evaluate yourself from the viewer's perspective. And now, tip number 5, get rid of your inner critic. One of the major challenges I faced when I first started making videos was that although I liked how they were produced and how I looked and presented myself, it was really hard for me to watch myself. It just made me cringe to watch myself played back on camera, even though I was comfortable around people and giving speeches, considering I was an actor in theater as a kid. It's really unusual to hear our voices outside of our heads, and it's unusual to watch ourselves, but the anxiety and judgment that comes from that isn't really necessary, and most of the time, it doesn't even come from ourselves. This may be coming from a teacher or a friend who even meant well by judging the way you express yourself and also present yourself. So you need to fully understand where this judgment comes from and how you can overcome it, because only you can do that. So that was it for this video. I hope it was useful. If you got any value from this video, please subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss anything. Thank you guys, and see you next time.